The Steelers ended their two-game losing streak on Sunday against the Indianapolis Colts, a team that came in with the best record in the NFL at 7-1. Doesn't get much easier for the Steelers as they head out to Los Angeles to take on the Chargers for Sunday Night Football. Thanks for being with us for the matchup presented by Shell Polymers alongside Missi Matthews and Matt Williamson. I'm Rob King. Before we move ahead, Missi, really big win for the Steelers. They needed it, and they proved something maybe to the rest of the league, if not themselves, by beating a top team.
I think especially for the defense, the previous two performances, no one was happy about. Not having takeaways for 3 games, no one was happy about that either. But the high energy, the way they were flying around, getting after the quarterback, the tackles for loss, just everything was good to see. And whatever Jalen Ramsey said to them on the eve of the game, I want him to say that every last team meeting. And
the Ravens are closing fast. Like, you've lost 2 in a row.
Oh, yeah.
You brought the Ravens back into the playoff picture. Not that they were, I think, out of it anyway, although they don't have much margin for error. But this was a big win for the Steelers.
Absolutely. And this upcoming game is a huge game as well. Another quality AFC opponent. Who knows what tiebreakers happen in playoff time and all those things. I mean, I thought the Colts were a powerhouse, and the Steelers' defense, as Missi mentioned, really put them in their place.
We mentioned the Chargers. Each of the Chargers and the Steelers entering this game on Sunday with 1 conference loss in the AFC. So let's get to our matchups. And Missi, let's begin with you. And after 4 straight games of running the ball effectively, not as effective, although nice to see Jaylen Warren get into the end zone a couple of times.
Twice.
Yeah. So your key is to run the ball against this Chargers defense.
Yes, I think where they are in terms of the average, 30th in the league, lowest average of yards per game on the ground. I just think that it helps Aaron Rodgers. It helps the entire offense. And again, this has been a key every single week, probably going back to week 1, of running the ball effectively. And I think time of possession against this team, not that it doesn't matter all the time, it will matter because they are able to do some things on the ground, whether it's Justin Herbert, running backs, whatnot. The Steelers have to do that. And I think the 3 and outs were something that we maybe weren't expecting to see as much, and just knowing that they need to get better at that and have a chance to open it up for the tight ends, the wide receivers. And again, I just want Jalen, Max always says, always falling forward, getting some of those yak yards to help this offense really get going.
It's an interesting group because defensively, Dan Henley's really good at inside linebacker, but he's not a huge guy. They do have some massive guys up front. Taylor Tart and Jamari Caldwell are big human beings. But they only have 4 defensive linemen listed on their roster. You'd think maybe by attrition running the ball at him might be a good idea.
Yeah, that's a great thought. And some of those guys are more 2-down type players too. If you could extend them, as Missi mentioned, win time of possession, things might start to really break open in the 4th quarter. I also think their edge setters are really good players too. Khalil Mack, et cetera.
And speaking of the edge, that's going to be my key. The offensive tackles, Broderick Jones and Troy Fautano, going against the Chargers' edge guys. I think if you looked at this group, not Derwin James, but if you looked at this as a group, I think that's their strongest group. Their edge rushers. Khalil Mack is still around. They got Odafe Owe from the Ravens, who, remember, a couple years ago had 10 sacks. They traded him earlier in the year for safety Alohi Gilman. In 4 games, he's got 4 sacks for him. Tui Pelutu is the leader on sacks. And this is a very good pass-rushing Chargers team. I think as a unit, Matt, their pass rushers are probably their strongest suit.
Yeah, Owe's been very successful with them, super talented. You say his name better than I do, Tui Pelutu.
Tui Pelutu. Yeah.
Bosa was sort of in his way. They were real comfortable letting Bosa go because he deserves more playing time. And Mack is just a Hall of Fame type of career that is still playing really, really well. And they all are real physical guys.
Yep. And Aaron Rodgers sacked a couple times against the Colts last week. You'd like to see him have more time. Of course, it starts with Missi, your key, running the football, getting to 3rd and manageable. But they also have to keep Aaron Rodgers upright.
Absolutely. And I do think that Troy Fautanu especially and Broderick Jones have been doing a really good job. For Troy, this is the first real full season we're seeing of him obviously putting together with the injuries he dealt with last year. And they've had some tall tasks, but as you guys have said, the names that you see that will be across the line lining up against them, definitely something, especially with the precision that Aaron runs this offense with, of getting the ball out quickly, people having to be in exact spots. The line has to do their job in order for those things to happen.
And Matt, your key guy is this guy, sensational 4-time Pro Bowler, Derwin James. We'll see him blitz Then we'll see him drop back. He can intercept footballs. He can come up and make plays. He's a terrific player.
Terrific player. I mean, he's a first-round safety, and he looks like it. I mean, this guy's straight out of Central Casting, long, physical, highly aggressive. They ask a ton from him, much like Kyle Hamilton with the Ravens, and he's up for all challenges. I mean, he can play man coverage against tight ends. He can drop the deep middle, plays the run. He's a tone setter.
Yeah, so we talked about the best units, but he is their best player on defense.
Yes.
No doubt about it. Okay, so it is time for our Immaculate prediction, and Peyton Wilson coming off a sensational game, 14 tackles, 10 solo tackles, had an interception as well. So our Immaculate prediction question for you is over/under on solo tackles for Peyton Wilson at 5.5 against the Chargers. We're giving away an autographed Peyton Wilson football, a $50 Steelers Pro Shop gift card, and a classic terrible towel to the winner of this week's Immaculate prediction. Up next, how can the Steelers defense contain Justin Herbert and the Chargers offense? We'll let you know when the matchup presented by Shell Polymers resumes. Get all your Steelers gear direct from the team. Shop the Steelers Pro Shop in-store or online for all things black and gold. You can get jerseys, hats, authentic memorabilia, custom gear, and exclusives you can't find anywhere else. And of course, get the ultimate Steelers game day accessory, the terrible towel. Steelers Nation shops here. Get your gear in-store or online at shop.steelers.com. The Steelers defense did a sensational job against the Indianapolis Colts offense, by far the best offense in the league in terms of points per game and yards per game. The Steelers came up with 5 sacks. The defense came up with 5 turnovers. Of course, there was one other turnover on special teams as well. This came at a time when the Steelers defense was very banged up. A lot of guys not available either due to injury or illness. But I can guarantee you this, Matt, the Chargers have zero sympathy for that because their outside tackles, both their tackles on offense, maybe the best tackle duo in the NFL. They're out both for the year, and both their running backs, Najee Harris, who never missed a game as a member of the Steelers, he's out for the year. Amarian Hampton, their first-round draft choice, he won't play. This is a team that wants to run the football. They're without some serious components.
1,000%. Now, they do have really good pass catchers, and it kind of reminds me of the last 2 opponents where they don't have a Jamar Chase, but they've got a wealth of pass catchers, and they have a terrific quarterback. But the O-line's in bad shape right now.
Okay, so that is where I'm going to start, because I think that what the Chargers are going to try to do is run the football. And they've, even with these injuries to their running backs, they've run the ball. Kamani Vidal is their new lead running back while they wait for Hampton to come back. He's expected back after the bye. Well, in the last 4 games, Vidal has 200-yard games. And they've averaged 175 yards on the ground without their top 2 running backs. So you can't just look at this game, guys, and say we have to stop Herbert. Just go back and look at what happened when they couldn't stop Chase Brown in Cincinnati. Even the second half of the game against the Packers, did a great job against Jacobs. Wilson got loose. That certainly helped Love in the passing game. So to me, even though I'm more worried about the passing game because of Herbert, I'm worried about this running game because if they can get that going, the Steelers are going to be in a world of hurt.
That was definitely priority number 1, though, for the Steelers against the Colts, and we saw that come to fruition, something that, I think was really irking Cam Hayward, all of those guys over there, but it's not just the running backs.
Right, for sure.
Justin Herbert, 305 rushing yards as a quarterback. He is also somebody that you have to take into account, too.
Yep, when you think about that, and he ranks, Matt,
first amongst all quarterbacks right now.
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Amazing.
I was shocked when I saw that. I mean, he's a very good runner. He's a very good athlete. Very smart about it. And they'll design some runs for him, but a lot of it's also because he's under duress so much he has to run.
Right, because the tackles are hurt. But by the way, he will not only run away from you, he will run you over.
He's a big, strong guy.
He is a big, tough guy. So, Missy, let's get to your key, and that is containing Herbert in a multiple number of ways because he can run, but he is a tremendous all-around quarterback. He can really throw.
I definitely think his mobility is high on the priority list for the Steelers this week, just based off of what Coach Tomlin said on Tuesday, and because he's not Joe Flacco or, some of the other guys that they have faced, but he has been sacked 28 times this year. Again, you went through the laundry list, I should say, of injuries to their offensive line. Quarterback hits 80 times. The Steelers have 27 sacks as a team. Him has been sacked 28 times, but I think the 8 interceptions, and knowing that, I was reading some stuff on the Chargers website, and they said that 4 of those were due to the fact that he was running for his life, made a bad decision. So I think it goes back to, if you can stop the run, which is always the case, make them one-dimensional, not that he does not have these amazing pass catchers. They have 4 receivers that have over 400 plus yards. The Steelers have 1, 4. So I do think that if you can keep him in the pocket, don't let him use his legs, maybe force him into some bad decisions and let the guys up front on the defensive line, make whoever is playing offensive line very uncomfortable for the day.
Yep, and again, if you let him throw, Rondé Gadsden is coming on at the tight end position. Quentin Johnston's been a revelation for them, a first-round pick a year ago. Wasn't very good last year. He's one of the top in the league in touchdown receptions. Allen and McConkey, they've got a really good group, as you mentioned. But Justin Herbert's got to be standing upright, Matt, to be able to hit those guys.
Yes.
And, okay, we're finally getting to, I think, the most obvious one for Steelers fans, and certainly the one based on what they did last week and we've seen them do when the defense is going well. This looks to be a huge advantage for the Steelers.
It absolutely does. And I adore how the Chargers team built. Slater in the first round. 2 years later, Alt in the first round. Gave Slater big money. Slater was missed. He went out early in the process. He didn't get to play a snap this year. Alt missed time, and then he went over to left tackle and is phenomenal. The numbers when Alt is on the field compared to not are night and day, and that's even without Slater in the mix. Now both are gone, and there's numerous other, let's just say, movement around their offensive line. I don't know what Becton's situation is. They just traded for Penning from New Orleans. So they're trying to piece it together, but this is not their plan at all.
And you would think the Steelers have got to know that and are the proverbial licking your chops with an opportunity to get out and get after a group of backup offensive linemen.
Absolutely, and I think if they can, not that it's the same game plan, but you stop the run against the Colts, then you're able to pin your ears back and go after Daniel Jones. Same thing for this week. Obviously, different team, different situation, but the injuries are just so long and widespread, and as you said, the 2 tackles, losing them for the year, you almost feel bad for them in a way, but maybe after this.
Yes,
week.
right.
But it's not very doable, and they made a trade at the end of the deadline, right before it, but what is he going to do? Trevor Penning played left and right tackle yesterday in practice. He has experience at guard, but you don't even know who's healthy and who's not at this point. I guess for them, the only good thing is that they're playing at home, so they have a little bit more extra time to try to figure things out.
They will add some big people to the mix, though. Big fullback, D lineman type, Patrick Ricard type guys out there. Maybe they'll do more of that to help the guy, help their tackles. And that does look like the Steelers' biggest advantage. But one more I'm going to throw out there is just in terms of turnovers and special teams, these teams couldn't be any different. The Steelers are the best of the league when you combine those aspects. The Chargers are the worst in the league in those aspects.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up the big guys too, because we're talking about the running game. Like Fisk and Matlock are the 2 guys that are just enormous guys. Matlock's a defensive tackle like Ricard.
Exactly.
But Fisk is also, you want a pass catching tight end? No, we want a guy that can block.
They're hammers.
Yeah, they are hammers. So a lot of interesting stuff coming up, and a reminder that the Steelers will be visiting the Chargers coming up on Sunday night at SoFi Stadium out in Los Angeles. Kickoff is scheduled for 8:20. For Missi Matthews, Matt Williamson, our entire Steelers production crew, I'm Rob King. Thanks for watching this edition of The Matchup, presented by Shell Polymers.